Nobody is born an Autobot. Every bot on this list started somewhere else, and one of them started as the single most feared killer in the entire war, Jetfire. Start with the one most fans think of first, and the one whose story is stranger than they realize. In the original cartoon, Skyfire was a scientist, not a soldier, an explorer who mapped worlds alongside a young Starscream before the war ever started. He got lost, frozen in Earth's ice for millions of years, dug up, and revived by the Decepticons who found him. He woke up expecting his old friend and his old life. Instead, he found a fanatic who tortured living things for sport. And the moment he understood what Starscream had become, Skyfire walked. He tore the Decepticon badge off his own chest and joined the Autobots without a second thought. Here is the part almost nobody talks about. His whole design, the transforming jet. Even the name Jetfire was borrowed so directly from another giant robot show called Robotech that they had to tweak him to avoid a lawsuit. The first great Decepticon defector is also the most legally complicated bot in the franchise. Jetfire left because the cause disgusted him. The next one left because a child showed him what justice meant. Sixshot. This is the one the hardcore fans beg people to remember. In the Japanese series, Sixshot is not a minor turncoat. He is a one-robot army, a ninja assassin who can transform into 6 different modes, so feared that his own side is scared of him, and he personally kills Ultra Magnus. This is not a bot you expect to turn. Then he meets a human child, and something in the one-robot army breaks open. Through that kid, he starts to question the endless killing, and he sees for the first time that the Decepticon way is built on nothing but fear. So the deadliest warrior on Cybertron fakes his own death, walks away from everything, and is reborn as the Autobot Great Shot. And to atone, he brings back to life the very bot he had murdered years before. The most terrifying Decepticon alive chose to become someone new, and spent the rest of his life paying off the debt. Sixshot had to leave his whole identity behind. The next one had a leg for an alt mode, and an even worse start, Ambulon. Ambulon has one of the grimmest origins on this list. He was part of a Decepticon combiner experiment, one of those horror show programs that fused bots into a larger machine, and it left him permanently scarred. His alternate mode is a leg, not a jet, not a tank, not a car, a single leg of a larger combiner he was forced to be part of. A permanent reminder that he was built to be a component, not a person. He walked away from the Decepticons and did the last thing anyone expected from a war machine. He became a doctor. Ambulon spent his new life as an Autobot medic, quietly saving lives in a frontier infirmary, trying to be the opposite of everything he was built for. And the tragedy is that his past never fully let him go. His fellow medics never quite trusted the ex-Decepticon, and he was eventually murdered by a corrupt doctor who used that suspicion as cover. He died an Autobot, which is the one thing he chose for himself. Ambulon changed sides for himself. The next one changed sides for love, and rewrote her whole future doing it. Blackarachnia. In Beast Wars, Blackarachnia starts as a Predacon, the faction descended from the Decepticons, and she is good at it. Cunning, venomous, loyal to Megatron's schemes. Then she falls for Silverbolt, a Maximal so noble he is almost ridiculous. And his refusal to give up on her slowly does what no battle could. She switches sides. But here is what makes her matter. She does not become soft, and she does not become a different bot. She stays sharp, stays dangerous, and simply points all of it at the Predacons instead. She even hacks her own body, forcing a dangerous upgrade to survive the war on her new terms. And when Megatron needs someone to betray the Maximals, she is the one who instead turns on him at the critical moment, helping save Optimus Primal. Blackarachnia is proof that becoming a Maximal was never about going soft. Sometimes it is the most ruthless bot in the room deciding the other side is worth fighting for. Blackarachnia chose her side. This next group was built by one side and had to choose it anyway, the Dinobots. Here is a twist on the whole idea. The Dinobots were not Decepticons who defected. They were built by the Autobots from scratch. Wheeljack and Ratchet dug up dinosaur fossils near the crashed Ark and used them to construct powerful new warriors. Grimlock and his team meant to smash through Decepticon lines. It went wrong immediately. The moment they were switched on, the Dinobots were too wild to control. They rampaged through the Autobot base and attacked their own creators, and Optimus Prime ordered them locked away, even considered scrapping them. So these bots were made by the Autobots, rejected by the Autobots, and had every reason to hate them. What turned them was not programming. It was watching the Autobots choose to protect life instead of take it. One of them, Swoop, only truly understood the war after fighting to save his own captured teammates, and came back loyal. Grimlock, proud and furious and smarter than he lets on, decided the heroes were worth following on his own terms. And the Dinobots became the most loyal, heavy hitters the Autobots ever had. They were manufactured as weapons. They chose to be something better. The Dinobots were made into it. This next one built himself into a monster first and then had to unbuild it piece by piece. Drift. Drift's story starts at the absolute bottom. He was a homeless bot on the streets of Cybertron, starving while the government looked away, and the only thing he had was a friend named Gasket. Then Gasket was killed right in front of him, and something in Drift snapped. He found out he was good at violence. When Megatron rose up promising the downtrodden they could take their freedom back, Drift believed every word, and Megatron saw the rage in him and put it to work. He renamed him Deadlock, and Deadlock became one of the most prolific killers the Decepticons ever produced, with a body count to rival anyone in the war. That should have been the end of his story. Then his escape pod crashed on a hidden world, and he met Wing, a warrior from a sect of pacifists who had walked away from the war entirely. Wing knew exactly what Deadlock was and refused to give up on him anyway. What followed was not a redemption, it was a demolition. He gave up guns. He learned the sword. And when they asked his name, he was too ashamed to say Deadlock, so he picked a new one. Drift. He walked away from the deadliest version of himself and spent the rest of his life protecting the weak, the one thing Wing taught him mattered. Drift had to bury who he was. The last one spent 4 million years being the reason this list has two sides at all. Megatron. Yes, that Megatron. The founder of the Decepticons, the single most destructive being in the history of Cybertron, ends his story wearing an Autobot badge, and the franchise made it earn every step. After the war finally grinds to a halt, a broken, defeated Megatron is dragged in front of the Autobots, and most of them want him dead. It is Bumblebee, of all bots, who stops it. The two of them had really talked in the quiet after the fighting. And through those conversations, Megatron slowly saw the thing he had spent 4 million years refusing to see. That the cause he built had curdled into the very tyranny he first rose up against. Bumblebee is the reason he changed it all. He surrenders. He stands trial for everything he has done, and he accepts an Autobot badge not as a trick, but as the only honest thing left to do. They keep him weak and watched, and they are right to. But the warlord who created this entire war ended it by joining the side he spent his whole life trying to destroy. Nobody is born an Autobot. Some of them have to march through 4 million years of war to get there.